Anyway, onward to complete this place with the improper volume. Let me adjust that. There we go. Although no one on the stream can tell. So, what I was just looking at here in my Fancy Pants book, if they would stop casting stuff, is that there are 3 altars, I think it said, around this place. Altar of the Night or some such nonsense. Here they are. Apparently there's 3 of these, I think it said, and each one of these you need to put a black orb in, and you get black orbs from killing enemies. I have 1, so we're going to need to kill at least 2 more enemies. They don't always drop it, I don't think. But there you go. The first seal has been broken. They should get that checked out, Aldrin. My old graphics card, when it died, it literally, like, died. It was horrid. Huge amounts of artifacts, like, entire screen looked like it was kind of ripped in half, kind of dealio there. It was insane. You know, like when you press on like a calculator screen or something, and it gets like, I don't know how to describe it, but like the screen gets all distorted and coloring. My computer screen was doing that. It was a pretty good sign that the card was broken. But anyway, this card hasn't done it. This is actually probably, in my opinion, one of the better cards you can get without wasting huge amounts of money. Which is a 6850, by the way. I think it's dropped down to like 100 something now, if I'm not mistaken, which is insane for the performance this thing gives. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's better than the, you know, 690 or whatever, but that's a $700 card or something ridiculous. Is there another thing on this side? There should be. There it is. The 560 Ti is pretty good as well. I believe that was, in my opinion, I think it's pretty much right below what I have on the price performance chart there. Especially since the price has dropped on it quite a bit. Not as much as the 6850 though. Plus, you can get a 6850 and essentially make it a 6870 because they can all essentially overclock that much. I have mine underclocked, if you know what that means. I have it undervolted as well, actually. So we need to kill 1 more enemy and go to the northern section of this. It shouldn't be too hard since we have to kill enemies to get there, so whatever. I think what happens in this place is they drop a black orb so long as you're not carrying one. That's what it seems to be. Let's see if this guy drops one. Your keyboard is broken. Did he drop one? Hey, he did. There we go. So I guess they do drop it so long as you don't have one. How do I get over there? Apparently by mass murdering everything. Well, time to go on a mass murdering spree. Hello, horsey. Do you have a mechanical keyboard, Algernon? I'm gonna assume you don't, because a lot of people tend to not have one, but, you know. I don't have a mechanical keyboard, I have a crappy eMachines, whatever it is, membrane or whatever. Which has, to be honest, worked quite well. It's got, you know, it's got the little volume buttons and everything, it's got basically all I want. I don't know, I think this thing's from 2000 or something, and it's still working, I'm surprised. Actually, it's working better than my 360 controller, which I've had for less time than that. And which gets less use, I might add. That'll teach you something. eMachines, quality products. Absolutely garbage for performance, but my god, they got some good quality. By the way, this place is full of mimics, as you can see there. I think, like, I'm pretty sure almost every single treasure in this place is a mimic. To be honest, I'm perfectly fine with my current mouse and keyboard and controller and whatever else setup. I would just like a better processor, to be honest. I can live with the graphics card, I can live with the amount of RAM, I can live with the case, although the case is way noisy. It's probably the power supply. Also, that door is locked for now. We'll get in there later. But I just want a better processor. Because, quite frankly, AMD is not very good at rendering videos. I say that time and time again. AMD, not good at rendering videos. Oh, see, you have a 2500K. I would like that. I would be perfectly fine with that. Although I would have to get a new motherboard and a new processor, which is like, what, 300 to 400 for that much stuff? I don't remember how much an i5 costs. You can actually, I think with the newer... Oh, you have a NVIDIA graphics card? Well, that explains it. With the newer graphics cards, you can actually render videos basically just as fast as a processor would, if not faster. 6850, not so good at that. So I have to rely more on the... Freaking everyone got petrified. I have to rely more on the CPU than the graphics card. Where am I going? Gotta go down there. Let's cut this way. And kill a horsey, probably. Yep, horsey. Hello, horsey. Especially NVIDIA. NVIDIA and Intel are, to be honest, better. I know someone's gonna complain about that at some point in the comments, but they are. They've got more power. Let's see. They're crazy expensive, but that's because they have more power. And Stona. Especially with the CUDA cores and the physics and all that stuff. There you go. And everybody's poisoned for whatever reason. That's a mimic, I'm willing to bet. And out we go. For what should be the final seal doohickey thing. Which apparently is this way. And she messed up her decoy. Great. I hate when she does that. Altar of Night. Actually, let me read the inscription for you. The beast here dwelling oft possessed black orbs. Herewith approach by thine offering sealed way to open. This game really, really likes having everything typed out like that. Like ye olden nonsensical nonsense. For rendering, Seal of Night loses its power, which means we should be able to not go that way, to use the elevator. For rendering video, the however bajillion cores that your GPU has is probably going to be better than your processor. Emulation, that is a non-option, so... Emulation is almost entirely CPU dependent, which is sad. Which if you have basically just any quad core and you're pretty much fine emulating stuff. As noticed by my AMD 960T. Yes, poison's killing us, I'm aware. Poison in this game is far, far less of a problem than it is in turn-based Final Fantasies. Because you can take a ton of actions before the poison triggers, if, actually, I'd like to point this out. Poison, I'm pretty sure, is not affected by battle speed. So, it'll take the same time, or however, whatever, you know what I mean. It doesn't matter. You can be on slow or fast, you'll take the same poison damage over time. The only thing the battle speed affects in the entirety of the game is the speed at which actions are taken. That's why earlier I mentioned the battle speed doesn't affect the demon wall, and you should have it as high as it can go so you can get as much action in as possible. I don't need to save, really. It's because it doesn't affect it. Doesn't affect anything, so we should be able to go up here. This tower wrought by hands undying, heaven-bound path. Or no, this opens that door back there, doesn't it? Back here. My voice cuts out when I change the speed settings. What are you talking about, Alduin? Something messed up? Did I break something? What hath I done? Hopefully something's not broke. Because that would kind of suck. It's I'm worried. My headset is dying, which is disappointing. I'm not sure what would cause it to die, or if it even is, but as I mentioned earlier, the little light on it that tells me that the microphone's muted is dead. I don't know if it's just the light that's dead, or wiring inside the headset is broken, or the USB plug is messed up. I don't know. I don't want to fight the stupid... Come here, you idiots. Just want to get to the door, which should be broken now, because it should be the dark seal on this door up here that I mentioned. Apparently I mentioned everything. My word. Also, Redis does a metric crap ton of damage. I forgot these things were here. Come hither. Where are you going, Redis? Apparently to kill that thing. I wonder what that pillar says, because I don't recall ever reading those. And Redis has stopped. Didn't know anything here new stopped. Interesting. By the way, basically 90% of the enemies from this point on will know bravery or faith. What do you say? From Beasts of Towers base, rest the orbs you seek. I've already known that game. Whatever. The problem with SLI is it's very game dependent on how much it'll actually help. For instance, I think it was... Oh, disable, really? Someone remedy that. Battlefield 3, for instance, has some really, really good scalability with SLI and stuff. Skyrim, however, I'm pretty sure does not. In fact, I'm pretty sure it does basically nothing. Actually, I believe it was a video on YouTube where I actually saw they did the test with SLI and Crossfire and stuff to see how effective it was. I think it was NCIX.com, I believe was the channel, or it might have been Linus Tech Tips, I'm not sure. It's one of those two. But I believe one of the games actually got worse with 2 graphics cards, and then got better with 3. So, I'm not sure what was up with that, but I'm pretty sure it did get worse with 2 for whatever reason. Doesn't happen terribly often. Murder everything in the world. Now that I've run around this place like 17 times, has anyone leveled up again? No. Garbage experience. Ahead the Watcher waits, first of 3. Hint, 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 first of 3. You without wisdom return whence you came. It is time for the first of 3. Remember at the beginning it talked about illusion. Note how that door opened. And we're here. How you doing? It's a cool little place. Looks like the Ester Sand. We're like all misty and stuff. It's cool, don't worry. We got this. If I recall, these bosses, and there he is chilling over there, can actually be really quite hard. I also like how much detail they put into areas like this, which is interesting. I don't know if it's part of like another map or what, but I guess maybe they made a new one since it has a name, but hello, tortoise. Rock tortoise. That's alright, Aldrin. I wish I had the money to just pimp daddy my computer. I really do. I would go ahead and water cool it and everything. The only reason I would water cool my computer is for noise, because it's so much quieter. Anyway, first boss, giant rock tortoise. Behaves basically exactly the same as regular rock tortoises. He does a metric crap ton of damage though, as you might expect. I believe he does have that. It's a tortoise thing, they all have that. I believe he does have abilities that trigger at 50% hit points, if I'm not mistaken, so keep that in mind. Eye drops. I am perfectly fine with the air cooling, but I have flat. Thank you. I just have an issue with. I should raise her gambit actually. It's a little low for these boss fights. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Because the amount of combos that these bosses can get in this place is kind of ridiculous. But anyway. Perfect defense, that's the one that triggers. He is immune to everything, so basically just wait. You can turn off gambits and do manual healing at this point if you want to, but It doesn't really matter. Basically, the game really likes making bosses immune to stuff for a time period. Anyway, the only problem I have with air cooling, it's not temperatures or anything, it's just the noise that happens. Like, mainly, I guess coil whine is what it is. I'm not really sure what exactly it is, but something in my computer, I have yet to figure out what it is. I've replaced all the fans with other fans that we happen to have available. Didn't use the graphics card. I took it out to see if it was that. I'm thinking it's the power supply, but I don't really want to take the fan out of the power supply and replace it. But it's a really high-pitched whining sound that happens sometimes. Once it starts, it doesn't really stop. I should get a thicker case. This case is garbage. I was well aware of that. Would you like to wear off, Mr. Immunity? Or no, we're just gonna sit here all day? Because I can keep this up for quite a while, actually. Oh, he's not immune anymore. I was looking down at my book, basically just waiting for him. I should get rid of that slow, actually. Time magic is where it's at. Haste on Ash. The fans I have are decent quality. I'm not gonna say they're like super quiet. I mean, they're like $10 fans that we have around. The case is garbage. The power supply is actually a decent power supply. It's a dual rail 750 watt something. I can't remember the make of it. I could actually, the side of my case is already open. I could look in there. But it's back there and the sticker peeled off, so whatever. It's a good power supply. Eye drops. I think just the fan inside of it is got some sort of issue. Because I've got, as far as I'm aware, no issue with the power that's being supplied to the computer. It's where it should be. It's stable, dual rail. Although this power supply is one of them earlier dual rails where it decides to run all of the peripherals off of one rail, which is stupid, but whatever. And this boss is dead. Freaking giant long conversation we had during that, my lord. My word! And off he goes. He just walks into a rock until he gets tired. I believe I have a 80 plus, just 80 plus. It's not silver, gold, whatever. It's just 80 plus. And 750 watt is, to be honest, more than that's probably about right where I would want to be. I have been told you want to get a power supply that will run your computer at 50% load, is what I've been told, so. I don't know how true that is, but it makes about as much sense to me as anything else, because that's a fairly efficient point for a power supply. Also, I think it's going to rain today, so now that we've cleared that, we have unlocked the pathway to the next area, which I'm pretty sure isn't over here, so I'm not sure why I'm walking back here. My whole computer at time of purchase cost, is this the way I'm supposed to go? No, that leads back out there. Do I have to go back to that? I don't remember. Hold on. I believe we do have to go back. Yeah, we have to go back to that waystone. Okay. My whole computer cost at time of purchase probably $650 to $700. Because that's all the money I had at that point. So, I mean, it's done me well. It's still here. It's still recording for me. I've had one of my hard drives die, which is disappointing, but the amount of usage that my hard drive gets is pretty high, so for them to die, especially since it was like 5 years old, really not that surprising. I mean, my hard drives get stuff, or that hard drive anyway, my SSD is going to be there for quite a while. It gets, you know, an hour of me doing this is like 100 plus gigabytes. So that's being written on there really, really fast, to be honest. It's like 430 something thousand bit rate or something ridiculous like that. Actually it might be 43,000. I don't know, it's something huge. So there you go. And he's stoned now. Whatever. We're heading back to the save point anyway, I'll just wait. Actually, you know, we're not using her mana, so there we go. MP, whatever. Nobody knows when the Steam sale is because nobody is told. I've seen hints and stuff that it was last week. I've seen hints and stuff that it's this week. I don't know. I do know Wargame is 50% off, and there's a new free DLC. Also, Command & Conquer stuff is 75% off, which is good. I bought Red Alert 3 and Command & Conquer 3, so I've already played both of them to completion on the 360, but disable, what is with things here having disable? Remedy that. But I got them on PC, so good stuff. Red Alert 3, despite the nonsense, well, I guess it is your Red Alert, so it is nonsensical for a reason. It's actually a really good game. I quite like it. I would recommend it. Gotta go back around this way. I hate this place with a passion. Hello, horsey. How are you? You've never had a hard drive fail? That's kind of surprising. They do have a relatively high failure rate past 5 years, I'm pretty sure. So, whatever. Mine died, it's alright, we'll move along. Well, actually, it didn't completely die, it was in the process of dying, but due to the fact that I would prefer not losing the hard drive that has, you know, recordings and stuff on it, I went ahead, transferred everything over, and bought a new one, so. This was back before the price of hard drives, like, quintupled or whatever, so it wasn't that bad. You have Tiberium Wars still? I have Tiberium. I have the CD sitting over here right next to me, and she's slowed. I don't really care. That'll be fixed in a second. There we go. I have ye olden original Tiberium Wars sitting right next to me. Apparently she's gonna wall hack this horse to death. Whatever, Ash. The number of mods I've used with Tiberium Wars is insane. None of them I would consider really that good by today's modification standard. Speaking of hard drive prices going up, I was just keeping track of them just because I was curious how high they would go, and what is it? The Velociraptor hard drives or whatever they're called. The 15,000 RPM crazy expensive nonsense. They went, one of them, I think 300 gigabyte one was like $1,200, which is absolutely insane. That was more than like the best processor and motherboard combo you could possibly get. And it was just for the hard drive, it was insane. I'm curious if anyone actually bought any during that time. Like if they were in such a situation that they absolutely needed to buy a hard drive and they kinda had to roll with the prices. Cause it got pretty high there. The hard drive I have right now actually probably went from, like it was $80 all the way up to like 400 something. So. Speaking of hard drive, I have a 1 gigabyte Western Digital is what I have, I believe. Which hopefully will survive. I've heard tale of Western Digital having issues. That door is green. That door is green. Guess we're going through it since they're both green, so. You and your pounds. How many is that? Is that like $50? That's pretty cheap for a 1 terabyte. You who crawl upon the clay, yet yearn for the heavens' bath. Tongue of stone's green flame, you wave what? Bespeaks. Lovely water tower thing there. Back to murdering these obnoxious creatures. Whoop. So long as the hard drive